Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. I'm just going to give everybody a chance to hop on live. And of course, I went live and I've just finished eating my breakfast. Not breakfast, my morning snack. And I got food in my teeth. So welcome, everybody, to my regular scheduled Monday morning broadcast. And today I'm going to be talking about who is running the show and what you need to know about your patterns and behaviors and how to change them to achieve what you want. So if you've never met me before, my name is Lisa Carpenter and I am a transformational coach, and I work in a lot of different areas with my clients. I help women live, work, and lead from a healthy emotional place, whether that's making peace with food in their body or no longer using busy as their status quo in their life or their business. Emotional healing is really at the base of all of it. Good morning, Yvonne. Nice to see you on live. So today, I wanted to talk a little bit more about this mind-body connection, because quite often we feel like we are prisoners to our behaviors. Hello, Julia. I was just thinking about you because I haven't written my email to go out this week. So I need to get on that. Anyways, back to the topic. Our patterns and behaviors. Do you guys know that 95% of your patterns and behaviors are completely unconscious? 95%. And this is why we get so stuck in this constant cycle of, why can't I just eat the right foods? Why can't I eat healthier? Why can't I get to the gym? Why can't I? All of these patterns of behaviors. It can be in your life. It can be in your relationships. It can be with your body. It can be with your food. It doesn't matter. 95% of our behaviors are completely unconscious. And our bodies start to get into this kind of pattern. So let me explain something. We first feel something in our bodies, and then we think. Okay, so I was talking to a girlfriend yesterday who I spent the day with, and she used the analogy of a traffic accident, which I thought was brilliant, right? When we say we run a red light, we don't think first, oh my God, I ran a red light. We have a visceral reaction in our body, and then we're like, oh my God, I just ran a red light. We go through all day, every day with our patterns and behaviors being driven by our emotional state. So whether it's emotions of shame or guilt or anxiety, it doesn't matter. We're constantly being driven by these emotions. And we don't only get addicted to certain foods or certain behaviors. We get addicted to certain emotional states. Okay, we get addicted to certain emotional states. Our body starts to react on a chemical level all the time to these emotional states, which is why we get looped into these unconscious behavior patterns, because our body is constantly releasing chemicals and creating pathways in our brain that support these unconscious behaviors, right? Our body wants our things to be easy. Things to be easy. So this is why so many of our behaviors are unconscious. So how do we change these then? What if we have a pattern that we don't like? Like we've decided we're going to eat healthier. So we start eating healthier and we're doing pretty good. And then all of a sudden we get the voices in our head about, just have the donut, just have the glass of wine, just go out for dinner. Why does that happen? Because just like any addiction, when our body gets addicted to these behavior patterns and our bodies get addicted to these emotions, if we start to change those behavior patterns, we're not getting this flood of basically hormones in our body. So our body goes into like this state of withdrawal, which is why then our brain starts sending us messages about, just have the glass of wine, it won't matter. Just have the donut, it won't matter. And then pretty soon we're back to where we started in the unconscious behaviors of no longer eating healthy. So how do we change that? How do we change it? Because this is the big $1,000,000 question, right? Like, Lisa, if I just had more willpower, it wouldn't be a problem. It starts with a couple different things. First of all, you have to create conscious awareness of your behavior patterns. So if your default pattern is when you're super busy, you just reach for whatever in the fridge, you have to start to become aware of that and make a very conscious decision that you're going to override that. You also have to set up strategies that are going to support those decisions. So if you think you're just going to muscle through it, it's not going to work. You have to have strategies in place. You also have to start paying attention to when the little voices come in that say, screw it. I'm too busy. I'm just going to go through the drive-through. You have to have the wherewithal to say, okay, you know what? This voice is basically my brain wanting my body to go back to that comfortable, familiar, unconscious behavior pattern. Okay, because again, it's going into withdrawal now because you're not getting that flood of hormones through you that supports that comfortable feeling. Is this making sense to you guys? So it really does become, in order to change any of our behavior patterns around, because it's a pattern of addiction, we have to be willing to stay with the discomfort. We have to be willing to stay with the discomfort and override the messages that our brain is sending to our body about just go have one, just stay in bed, just date the guy that you know is going to be no good for you. We have to be willing to stay with the discomfort of saying no, like this is the pattern that I no longer want in my life, and this is what I want to create for myself. And this is why it's so important to not try and do everything all at once. So when I'm working with my clients inside my nutrition program, Eat, every week we're focused on just one thing because I want them to lay down this foundation of just changing one behavior pattern at a time. We have to start flipping our patterns. We have to start making the unconscious conscious, and we have to start bringing in new behavior patterns, which means we have to be almost hyper vigilant around them until we can establish them as a pattern. This is why people love to set goals for 30 days or 90 days, and they're just going to do the same thing every single day, because what happens is we start to then create new pathways in our brain that is going to support the development of that new habit. And we start to break down the old pattern that's been set up in our brain. Okay, so if you've been kind of going around and around in circles, doing the same thing, getting the same results, you really have to step back and say, what pattern am I comfortably stuck in here? What do I need to be conscious of? And then be willing to stay with the discomfort of doing what you've never done before. Even when the voices in your head is like, oh, one won't matter. This is why, like, think about somebody quitting smoking, right? For the first couple of days, they're okay. And then the level of nicotine starts to drop in their body. And all of a sudden the brain's like, wait a minute, where's my feel good? Where's my homeostasis? Where's my balance? I'm looking to get that like rush of like normalcy. So all of a sudden it's like, oh, that was stressful. I should go out for a cigarette, right? The cravings increase because the nicotine levels have gone down. The same thing happens when you're changing any type of habit. If you've been fueling emotions of guilt, if you've been fueling emotions of shame, if you've been fueling emotions of like suffering, right? We can be addicted to our emotions of suffering. So anytime we start to remove ourselves from that pattern and step into this place of empowerment, after a certain number of days, your body's going to be like, this doesn't feel good. We need to go back to suffering. So although it doesn't make sense up here logically in our brain, we know like that doesn't make any sense, Lisa. Your emotions will always run the show. Your brain is not running the show. Your emotions are. And when you start to learn how to be with uncomfortable emotions and not try and get away from them, be with them, break these comfortable patterns you've been in, that's when you're going to see significant shifts to your behavior patterns. And you've got to take it one at a time. So pick one thing in your life, one pattern that you want to break. Maybe it's people pleasing. Maybe it's eating too many donuts. Whatever it is for you, pick one behavior pattern and stay with it over the next 30 days. And even when the voice in your brain kicks in and says, oh, just stay in bed. You don't need to go do your workout today. I want you to override it. I don't want you to listen to it. I want you to say, no, I have to get up because I'm changing my pattern. I want a new way of doing things, and I'm willing to be with the discomfort. Okay, so we have to go against what our brain is telling us sometimes. We have to do the thing. We have to be with the discomfort. And this is what it means to step into your life fully. It's no longer going through life living 95% unconsciously. We want to create new patterns of behavior that support living the life we want. We don't want to be unconsciously walking around suffering and not liking our lives and not liking our businesses and not liking our bodies. That's not okay anymore. But in order for you to disrupt the status quo, you have to make the unconscious conscious. And then you have to start staying with the discomfort of creating this new normal. So you want to create a new normal. So what feels uncomfortable for you today, you want to turn that into being your new comfort level, new patterns of behavior, new pathways in your brain. So it's complicated and it's messy, which is why pick one thing in your life that you're not really happy with right now. And for the next 30 days, do what you can to stay the course around creating a new pattern of behavior that is really going to support how you want to feel in your life. So if you're tired of suffering, take the next 30 days and decide what you're going to do to promote you feeling like you're thriving in your life, in your body, in your business, whatever it is for you. Okay? Easy and not easy. Totally possible. I've changed many behavior patterns from, not having a schedule to now having a schedule. My routine in the gym now is a pattern. But do you think when I first started going to the gym at the crack of dawn, that was a pattern? No, I wanted to stay in bed like everybody else. Same with my eating. My eating didn't always start out with me vegetables and proteins and healthy fats. I used to live on Slurpees, cigarettes, and microwave popcorn. And Doritos. I love Doritos. Okay, so I didn't go from that to healthy meals 5-6 times a day overnight. It was incremental changes. It was looking at the habits that I wanted to break and the new habits that I wanted to instill. It meant when I had the cravings for Doritos that I abstained from having the Doritos. I didn't give in to my brain saying, oh, you need Doritos. Oh, you need them, Lisa. I didn't need them. And slowly over time, I stopped craving those foods and I started craving the foods that I wanted to be eating. So this is kind of how you go about it. Incremental changes. Look at one thing in your life you want to change and stay with the discomfort until the uncomfortable suddenly becomes your new comfort zone, your new normal. All right. So hopefully that was helpful for you guys and not too complicated, brain twisting. Right? We are complicated beings, but at the end of the day, we are able to create any reality we want for ourselves as long as we're willing to show up and do the work, stay conscious, be curious, not judgmental, be curious. And you can change anything. You can have the life that you want to live and be in the body that you want to live it in and surround yourself with the relationships that you want to be having with amazing people. So until next Monday, if you have any comments, just leave them below and I will circle back around to answer them for you. Have a fantastic week, everybody. It's amazingly beautiful here. So get outside, enjoy the beautiful weather and everything that your hometown has to offer. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.